My name is Mark Daniels Jr. There's a lot of things I enjoy. Shooting pool, playing basketball, spending time with my family, but I absolutely love bass fishing. In fact, that's how I make my living.
What is a professional bass fisherman?
A professional bass angler is someone who's never at home. Extremely competitive. We don't want to lose at nothing in life. We travel all over the country, all in pursuit of this one green little fish, trying to climb that leaderboard to ultimately hoist that trophy at the end of the week. My biggest advice to people who want to become a professional angler is to never give up on yourself. If you believe in yourself and you're passionate and this is what you truly want to do in your heart, you have to go after it 110%. I live in a small town called Shorter, Alabama. If you blink too hard, you'll probably miss it, but that's home base for me. That's where I spend all my time prepping all my gear, getting ready for these big tournaments. All right, guys, here we go. Minimal amount of time to pack. I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks. Just got back from scouting Lake Norman for the Red Crest, and now I'm home for a half day, basically, to pack all my stuff. Thought I'd compile it all into the Ranger Bass boat, get everything dialed in, making sure I got it all covered for some Florida fishing. I like to start with my tournament gear first, and then I'll work my way into the house. So I usually will get all my rods, my reels, I get my line, I get my baits, anything I think I might need for that week. I try to get all that into my truck, into my boat, into my rod coffin, nice and organized first. I got these really cool rod rack systems that I keep in my shop that I can put 38 rods on each rack. And so that's a lot of rods to have rigged, but it gives me a far back view of what I got. That's a really cool little piece that I picked up that helps keep me organized, because when you're dealing with so much stuff going on, organization is very key.
What you got there behind you?
A little tin rig. This is my around the house, so I don't have to be professional bass angler Mark Daniels Jr. I could just be Mark Daniels Jr. on the water. The thing about being a professional angler is it's a business, and you learn that very quickly after you spend a little bit of time around us or spend a little time being a professional angler. It's like nonstop. Sure, it's off season. The tournament season hasn't started yet, but you got sponsorship obligations. You got videos you need to do here. Your wife needs you to do something for here. Your children need you. I mean, it's just nonstop. Phone calls, emails, packing, unpacking, rigging, unrigging, and it's just a fast pace of life. It's a lot to deal with at times, it really is, but it's what we do as professional anglers. Just partnered with a new company, Toyota, which is awesome. So they're texting me now. You gotta stay on top of this stuff. There's so much to this bass fishing deal, man. It's just not go fish, go fish, go fish. This is what you guys don't get to see. My wife does 99% of it for me. She looks out for me. Luckily, I got my wife. My wife keeps me together when it comes to all of that good stuff, because otherwise I'd forget all kinds of stuff. I pack my clothes, make sure I got stuff like my hats and all that, jerseys, etc. Camera gear is a big deal. Although this year I got a camera guy, Colin, he'll be here in a little bit. I don't have all the big boy stuff, but GoPro 10s, I got 2 GoPro 10s and a vlog camera. And that's all I need to make YouTube videos for me. You know, the fishing game's changed a lot, man. It really has. And social media is tremendously huge, because sponsors not only look at that, they're basing their value of yourself on your impressions on social media. When I'm pulling out of the driveway, there's a lot of mixed emotions right there. You know, you're leaving behind a lot. You know, your family is behind, but at the same time, you know, you got so much to look forward to at the destination that you're headed to. And so it's very bittersweet every time you pull out that driveway. But at the end of the day, once again, it's what we do as professional anglers. All right, so I got my guy Colin here. We're just wrapping things up, getting the truck loaded. Colin's my camera guy this year for 2023, so we're excited, man. Got some big bass to catch this year.
All right, man, here we go.
So everybody has their own story and their own journey to becoming a professional angler. I learned to fish from my dad, man. And I was very fortunate that he introduced me to fishing at a very young age. Just him introducing that to me was what got me in love with the sport of fishing as a whole. You know, I won the TBF National Championship in 2013, and I knew I was gonna take that opportunity with that Living the Dream package. But I didn't have any money at all. I was fortunate that they provided me a boat and a truck, and they took care of my entry fees that year. I knew I wanted to continue to pursue this dream. I was more passionate about professional angling than I was anything I've ever done in my life, and I just wasn't gonna take no for an answer. I wasn't gonna let that be the reason, you know, that I didn't continue to pursue this dream.
How much roughly do you spend in expenses when you go on one of these trips?
That number's high, I don't even know. So much gas, man. We burn so
a
much
couple
gas.
thousand,
Yeah,
at least.
easily. Here we go, man. We're about to kick the season off. 2023 is starting right now. I'm here at the gas station. Of course, we always at the gas station, man. Don't never stop. It should be a good week. I feel good about it. Yeah, you definitely are not gonna make a living off your winnings. And so this is a business. You need to really focus on trying to obtain sponsors and keep sponsors. My sponsors support me. They support my brand. That's why we spend a lot of time making videos, and we're on social media, which is huge these days, because to keep them at the forefront of what we do is really how we make a living. And without them, there is no tournament bass fishing. When I first got into tournament bass fishing, if you didn't catch them, you were nobody. Nobody knew who you were. The game's changed. You can be very relevant just from social media. So social media has changed the game. It's hugely important. We as professional anglers now, we have two jobs. We fish two tournaments. You fish the tournament on the water, and then you're fishing the second tournament off the water, and that's your social media. So you better be active and you better be involved, because if you're not, you're gonna get beat by another angler. And that angler may not even be a professional. So you cannot afford for that to happen. We make the long drive down here to Florida. We finally get here. We're staying here at what we've been calling the Yellow House. This is the Airbnb that all four of us share. Myself, Jacob Wheeler, Dustin Connell, and Adrian Avina. And it's time to reconnect with the fellas, man. I haven't seen them together as a group since last season. It's always a good vibe, man, when the four of us connect. And we all got camera guys too. So there's 4 extra bodies, there's 8 of us. So finding a nice, spacious house, that can be difficult at times. Having guys like this to be able to split the cost up on lodging helps tremendously through the course of a season. It's really important to have people to talk to have some camaraderie with when you're out on the road, because you're disconnected from your family. But we have this group, and these guys are our family, man. And it's more than just fishing. We're buddies outside of bass fishing. We definitely feed off each other's energy, and that becomes your family on the road. So usually I try to get in a day early, at least, to where I could kind of decompress from the travel and really start honing in and focusing on my tackle. You know, there's no pressure. I'm not worried about, you know, the tournament's not tomorrow. I'm here a day early, and I can really, really focus on the tackle portion, because making sure you're prepared is part of the overall success of the grand scheme of things. Rigging tackle is like, for me, it's kind of a place to ease your mind. You know, it's usually you're by yourself, just rigging tackle, putting stuff together, thinking through different baits, techniques, etc. And you know, it's for me, it's therapeutic. But yeah, I actually do enjoy rigging up tackle, believe it or not. So when I'm setting up all this stuff, I mean, I got like 25 plus rods on this boat right now, and my priorities are my moving baits, like my swim jigs, my chatter baits, things like that, frogs, and then my pick apart baits is what I call them. So that's like my lunker logs, my bandito bugs, a jig, something like that, it's the slow down baits. So tomorrow with the weather conditions, you know, first thing in the morning, we'll likely throw around some top water. We'll definitely throw swim jigs. We'll definitely throw chatter baits, and we'll definitely do some flipping. I'm ready for anything the week might throw at me. So yeah, I got everything lined out. You know, I know what I need to tie on. I'm getting it all figured out. I know what's ahead of me, and we got long practice days coming. So we're up early, man. Practice starts. We are allowed to be on the water 30 minutes before sunrise, and we can fish all the way until 30 minutes after sunset. And I plan on using every single second of that time to try to locate these bass. We launched down here on Kissimmee today. A lot of water out here, so there's 5 different lakes we can fish. So there's a lot to be covered, a lot to be seen. But we're gonna start off here at Kissimmee, try to get super skinny and shallow with the anticipation of these bass moving up to spawn, and then we'll just go from there. Yeah, I think definitely as that water temperature increases later in the day, the bite should get better. We went through a host of baits, man. All sort of flipping baits, all your crossed out baits, chatter baits, spinner baits, top water, prop baits, jigs. You know, we tried it all. There's nothing that I will not try to catch one. The first sign of life. Oh no. They move up at different times all over the lake. You be at the right place when they're moving up, right when they get there. That's the key. Yeah, we try not to leave any stones unturned, man, out there on the water. You know, I'm on Google Earth constantly, and so I'm looking to put this Ranger wherever I can get it. And sometimes that means going through little ditches and creeks and backwaters, etc. We're trying to find this magical spot. That's a solid fish, and that's about a 2-pound bass. I'm gonna mark a waypoint right here on my graph. That's a solid one, 2 1/4. You know, that's 3 bites flipping pads. And I'm anticipating them getting caught on pads. I really am. Couple nibbles so far. We still looking for them though. My bass boat is probably the most important tool I have. And having a reliable bass boat that's gonna get you to and from quickly, safely, and offer you an excellent casting platform is very, very paramount. Trying to see if this is accessible or not. We're the blue dot, and I'm trying to get into there. There are no limits to trying to find these bass, and we try to turn over every stone out there. And my Ranger is a mean machine when it comes to that. She's quick, she has plenty of storage, great organization systems, and that Mercury 250 on the back pushes that thing lightning speed, and that's what you need. That's a big one, bro. Dude. There's your big one. But see how white he is? That's a really good sign. Another little dude. These are males, but I've seen it on several occasions where the next bite is 5, 6, 7 pounder female, you know, sitting up there. $2.24, so 2 1/4. Solid fish, not a giant. We're all out here to win, but making the cut, being able to get a good check is a form of success. Because if you do that consistently throughout the course of the year, you're gonna be at the championship. Very difficult to win. Very doable, but very difficult. Oh, there's another one. Gosh, that's a good one too. Beautiful fish like this. This is definitely a tournament grade bass. Yeah, that fish there's pushing 3 pounds. Those are the ones you need right there. Oh, that was a bite. When you don't catch it though, you don't know if it was a gar or not. Oh gosh, that's not a gar. Oh gosh. That's what we're looking for. That's what we came for, folks. 405. That's a nice fish. Thank you, babe. So that's on the chatterbait. It's funny, I was moving from spot to spot, and on my Garmin electronics, I could see this right here, and that's hydrilla. And I'd say that's probably the #1 aquatic vegetation for bass down here. I gotta stop catching these fish. Jeez, man, I just couldn't help myself. The goal during practice is to locate the fish and understand how they're utilizing the habitat. We wanna learn that. We don't necessarily wanna catch them all. And so while we're out in practice, there's a few different techniques that we'll utilize to prevent ourselves from doing just that. what you want to do is tie yourself on a hitchhiker like that. Then I'll take my bait and I'll simply screw that bad boy down into the head of that bait. And now we got no hook and we don't have to worry about catching any more bass. There's one right there. Let it go. Oh, you just let it go right there. All right, another bite right there. So by the end of practice, a couple baits and techniques really stood out. The chatterbait ended up catching a couple really, really nice fish. And so I made sure to tie on several of those. But then I also got some really good bites and key bites as well, flipping around a bandito bug and a lunker log around lily pads. These are things I'm very comfortable with, I'm confident in, and I think we got a good shot at doing well in this tournament. So it's tournament morning, I get up, I get out there, I'm ready to get after it, man. I've been waiting some months since the last tournament, and I'm ready to get things rolling. It's day one, Bass Pro Tour, Kissimmee Chain. It's about to go down, but I'm excited to get it going. I think we've prepared really good for this tournament this week, but Florida's a very tricky place. Very difficult to be consistent, and you need a big fish each day to really separate yourself. I'm gonna leave it all on the water. I'm gonna fish my butt off from the time they say go till the time they say lines out. You're competing against the best, you gotta give it your all, and you can't cut any corners. For these 8 hours, my entire focus is on catching these bass. And these guys I stay with here, they can all attest to it. When we launch these boats, it's game on. We hate each other for 8 hours.
I'm a winner till the day I die.
Let's get ready to go for qualifying round number 2 for our Group B anglers. In boat number 29, all the way from Alabama, representing Bill Lewis, Favorite Fishing Rides, Columbia, and Ranger Boat, M.